I just fight real fighters.
The truth is, these sports washing shady characters are paying you hundreds of millions of dollars to stop our fight from happening, and you're screwing over all your Mexican fans.
Canelo Alvarez just went off on Jake Paul during his Instagram live. And as you can see, Jake is already losing it.
Don't pay attention in anything.
Because Jake, in his usual delusional fashion, was hyping up a fight that Canelo never even agreed to. Because why would he? The man is out here defending world titles, not babysitting a YouTuber who treats boxing like a hobby.
Around with Canelo.
And after Canelo's video went viral, the world quickly realized that Jake had pulled off yet another fake news stunt, barely a month into the new year. Of course, he had to do it, because this fight was hyped like a Hollywood blockbuster, except it never even made it past the trailer stage.
Says he wants to fight Canelo. I'm just saying what he. That's what he.
hear you. Then why is he not fighting Canelo? I mean, it'd be a fucking 30-second payday for Canelo.
Jake Paul versus Canelo Alvarez was supposedly set for May 3, 2025 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, a date so perfectly chosen that even the universe rolled its eyes. Cinco de Mayo weekend, the most sacred time in boxing history, usually reserved for actual legends. Jake thought he was walking into greatness. Canelo didn't even RSVP.
Reporting of the information May 3rd coming out yesterday, I don't think was coincidence in the sense that perhaps there was a little litmus test being done.
Then there was Netflix, stepping into the boxing scene like it had just discovered the sport. Their first ever major boxing event. Big money, big marketing, big exposure. Except the biggest question was, who was even funding this nonsense? Reports floated about a $100 million plus offer for Canelo. But let's be honest, where was that money even coming from? Netflix, a mystery billionaire, some random Saudi investor. Nobody knew.
It was all but done, right? How did it go from all but done to a change of heart? No, putting it out there to maybe try to get to see, how the public would react to it.
The whole setup felt shady, unnecessary, and about as legitimate as a Jake Paul boxing masterclass. Then came the biggest red flag of them all, the weight. Canelo, a 168 pounds super middleweight, had spent years dismantling world-class fighters in his division. Jake Paul, a 200 pounds cruiserweight, boasted an impressive resume of retired MMA fighters and washed-up boxers. That's a 32 pounds difference, which, in boxing, is the equivalent of an elephant fighting a cheetah. Two completely different species.
Canelo, Jake Paul's made a lot of noise, especially last week. Do you take any notice of him?
Who?
Jake Paul. Do you take any notice of him? He said
that
it 2 years.
That team.
Either way, it reeked of desperation. But oh, the media circus ate it up. ESPN, The Ring, even Eddie Hearn. Everyone speculated that this was happening. Meanwhile, the only two people who actually mattered, Canelo and Jake's own promotion, MVP, stayed dead silent.
Deal is not done until it is absolute.
No contracts, no official announcements, just a storm of clickbait headlines that worked beautifully in Jake's favor. But then the cracks started to show. If Jake Paul actually believed this fight was real, he was in deep denial. Canelo never took it seriously, not even for a second. Anytime someone mentioned Jake's name, Canelo didn't just dismiss it, he laughed. And not just any laugh, the kind you give when a toddler challenges you to a push-up contest.
I'm thinking about is why you guys asking me for that especially fight. J Paul, please guys.
Here's the reality. Canelo doesn't chase gimmicks for money. He makes $40 million plus per fight facing actual elite-level boxers. He doesn't need to share the ring with a social media prankster in gloves to get paid. His name sells arenas, his fights bring in millions. Meanwhile, Jake Paul needs big names just to stay in the conversation.
Hey, maybe in 2 years we can talk, but...
Because I think some people would love you for knocking him out. I think that's
maybe. Yeah, you're right.
And that's where the Butterbean problem kicks in. Remember Butterbean? That novelty fighter everyone loved, until he finally faced a real challenge. That's Jake Paul in 2024. The moment he stopped knocking out retired UFC grandpas, the illusion shattered. He fought Tommy Fury, a boxer his own size, and lost. No hype, no mystery, just cold, hard reality. Jake Paul wasn't untouchable. He wasn't a threat. He was just another guy using boxing for clout.
This tweet from Turki Al-Sheikh himself. He says, "Don't mess with the lion. 4 fights for Canelo with Riyadh season. The deal is done. A lion doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of a sheep. Fear the lion, not the..."
Meanwhile, Canelo was out here securing a 4-fight mega deal with Riyadh season. A deal that guaranteed more money, more prestige, and better fights than anything Jake Paul could offer. While Jake was yelling into his phone about fantasy matchups, Canelo was in real negotiations with Terence Crawford, Charlo, Bivol, Benavidez, legacy fights, career-defining moments.
Even under this, you have Terence Crawford. "I'm waiting on Canelo in September and going to shock the world in Riyadh season." So that tweet comes out, and immediately the thought is, holy shit, what the just happened? Because the previous offer was 3 fights for Canelo that apparently was done for, that he was washing away and rethinking because Turki was going to look to do other things because Canelo was supposedly going to fight Jake. Now it's 4 fights.
4 days before what was supposed to be fight night, while Jake Paul's team was still busy fueling the illusion, Canelo Alvarez casually went live on Instagram and shut it all down. No dramatic announcement, no lengthy statement, just 12 words that erased months of nonsense in an instant. That was it. No fluff, no sugarcoating, just Canelo effortlessly bulldozing an entire PR stunt in real time. For weeks, Jake Paul and MVP had been hyping this fight like it was a done deal. Articles were published, social media was buzzing, and Jake even posted training clips as if he was really about to step into the ring with one of the greatest boxers alive. But Canelo's one-liner sent the whole fantasy crashing down.
Guys, don't pay attention in anything. In this f***ing YouTuber, I just fight real fighters. Don't f***ing around with Canelo.
The funniest part, the only people who ever claimed this fight was happening were Jake Paul, MVP, and a few conveniently vague sources. Back in March, reports started flying around about advanced talks between Jake and Canelo. The Ring, ESPN, and Eddie Hearn all made speculative comments, but not a single official confirmation. The only ones treating it like fact were Jake Paul's camp.
To expose them. So we had a signed contract to fight. Here you can see Canelo's signature and my signature to the right, claiming he's not fighting YouTubers. Bullshit. Look at the poster. We were announcing Tuesday, February 11th, claiming he fights real fighters, but he's fighting Crawford, a 135-pound fighter, and running from a real fighter like David Benavidez.
And just in case people thought there was still a chance, Turki Al-Sheikh stepped in to hammer the final nail. The biggest problem for Jake was that Turki Al-Sheikh hates crossover fights, and he hasn't exactly been subtle about it. The second rumors of Jake Paul versus Canelo started swirling. Turki wasted no time shutting it down. He retweeted a post from Asterisk, the Ring Asterisk magazine. By the way, he owns it, immediately dismissing the entire thing. And just in case anyone missed the message, he followed up on February 8, 2025, one day after Canelo humiliated Jake on Instagram with a direct shot at influencer boxing. Canelo fights real fighters. That was it. No ambiguity, no wiggle room, just a public reminder that Jake Paul was never even in the conversation.
Any hungry squirrel chasing your next nut. The truth is, these sports washing shady characters are paying you hundreds of millions of dollars to stop our fight from happening because they couldn't fathom the fact that they can't create a bigger fight than me and you.
And this wasn't just about Jake Paul. Turki Al-Sheikh has been on a mission to take boxing back from gimmicks and YouTube stump fights since he started pouring money into the sport. Riyadh season has been signing legitimate fighters and putting together super fight cards that fans actually want to see.
Had a guy like Tyson and
to try to get some credibility back.
When he fought somebody that was actually his age and was actually a boxer and was actually his size, he lost.
Showdown in May, Cinco de Mayo weekend. At the same time as all of this, there is great interest from Turki Al-Sheikh and Riyadh season to put on a Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight. So these two conversations are happening somewhat in parallel.